What's up, everybody? Eric here, Driveline, World's OK steering wheel holder, checking in with you guys for a video that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. I'm certain that a lot of you can relate to this right now. It seems like last night was like basically it was earth, wind, and fire, man. It was earth, wind, and fire. That was what my phone was blowing up about. First of all, let me talk about the fire thing, because is the fire thing still happening in South Carolina? I don't know. Like, I was watching that, but when I had that set as a destination, I was getting alerts last night about potential wildfires in South Carolina. Is that still a thing? I don't know. But anyway, as that's happening, last night would have been Tuesday night, right? Yeah, Tuesday night. I was at the terminal in Springfield, and I was waiting on this load to come in. And I had a very small window of time to be able to just get out, run. Because now wind was something I wasn't going to be able to avoid. That just is what it was. And I was okay with that, provided, because this load I knew was heavy. I knew where it was coming from. I knew what it was. I knew it was heavy. And the wind for 2/3 of my drive was going to be at my ass. So the wind was like, it was going to be a fight. I knew that. But as long as I could beat the rain, the heavy rain, and the snowstorm that was coming into Springfield, I was okay with that. So I'm waiting, and I called outbound, and it's like, hey, where's this trailer? Because I've gotten screwed so many times on a trailer not arriving on time, or the driver just shuts down and takes a 10, even though they have 6 hours left on their clock. I've had drivers shut down and take a 10, like 70 miles, like in Joplin, with half a clock left. Stop in Joplin and take a 10-hour break and not take the load to the terminal. And and I try not to judge, because it's possible they were drowsy and tired, and picking up the load may have been a clusterfudge. But man, if I'm taking a load to Springfield, I am getting it there as absolutely fast as I possibly can. I am not trying to take a 10-hour break. I'm not trying to delay getting that load to Springfield. If I'm legally required to, I will. But if I got hours, I'm getting the load to Springfield. So I started worrying about it last night. And it said, well, they're 120 miles out and they got 3 hours on their clock. Well, 2 hours and 20 minutes passed. And I'm thinking, okay, and this was, I don't know, probably 9 o'clock last night. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm about to call outbound. If this driver is stopped, like Joplin or somewhere like that, I'm going to call outbound right now and say, I will go get that trailer. I'll go get that trailer, and nobody has to pay me to deadhead. Call that driver and tell him, detach from the trailer, he's coming to get it. I will go get that damn trailer. Like, I was ready to just bobtail out of the terminal and go get that trailer and just repower it wherever it might have been, instead of sitting there and waiting 10 hours and then being stuck in a snowstorm. But as I'm on the phone with outbound, he's like, oh yeah, that trailer's it's in the bay right now. It's here. Thank God. So I get hooked up to that trailer and just bolt. And by the time I left, I think I left the terminal at about 10:30. When I pulled out past the guard shack, there was like this sort of mixed rain blowing sideways, and that's when the wind really kicked up. And I barely got out. I stayed right ahead of the snow and ice all the way to Paducah. And the rain started catching up with me there, but then I was already out of the snow. But unfortunately, all the way to Paducah, I had the wind at my ass. Now, it was strong. It was 40, 50 mile per hour gusts, but it was hitting me in the ass all the way from Springfield to Paducah. But as soon as I want to come back and talk to you guys about something with 60 and Cairo to Paducah here in a minute, and Copilot. So we'll get back to that here in a second. I wanted to bring you guys up to date. So when I got onto 24 in Paducah, that's when the wind was like, all right, man, you've been getting away with this for too long, and it just took its vengeance on me, dude. Because when you get on 24, you kind of turn southeast, right? And I got on 24, and man, it was just broadside, 50 plus mile per hour gust. There were a couple of them that just took me damn near into the left lane. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. But I did get to this Loves over here in Tennessee. But man, that probably last 80, 90 miles, whatever it is, on 24 was, I wasn't ever afraid. Like, there wasn't any fear. It's not that I was afraid. It's just that you had to have both hands on the wheel and really be paying attention, because gusts could just come out of nowhere. I mean, I got 44,000 pounds in a trailer, and it's all low, very heavy, all low in the trailer. So it's not that I was concerned about being blowed over, but it was an absolute battle. So I know a lot of you were out there in that same wind, but with snow and ice and all that shit. So what a night, man. I mean, I've had a fair share of wind in these 6 years. But that probably was the most consistent 400 plus miles of wind that I've done since I've been in trucking. I mean, granted, that first I don't know however many 310 miles or so to Paducah was at my back, but I could still feel it, and it would occasionally catch me at an angle. So I had that kind of wind all the way to this Loves, which is 405 miles or whatever it is. And then when I got to this Loves, then it got even worse. When I got to this Loves, my phones were blowing up with wind. I got parked, and every single, probably, you can see the fuel islands in front of me right there. Probably 15 minutes into my break, I had pulled the curtains, and I heard all kinds of crashing outside. I was like, what is going on? Like, it sounded almost like a trailer had turned and took somebody's hood off or something like that. So I come up here and open the curtains, and every single trash can in the fuel island came flying out and just slammed into trucks along here. Trash everywhere. There was like a truck two down that had its headlight smashed in by a part of a trash can. Every trash can in the fuel island just came right back and hit all these trucks. Just boom, 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 crash. Like, you just hear all kinds of mayhem. And it was just like, I think it was like, they were saying 58 mile per hour gust right after I got parked. So that was just something else, man. I would not have dared come out into that if I wasn't heavy as hell with a lot of low weight in the trailer. Would not have dared. And even that was kind of at the peak of what I find acceptable, and only because I was loaded the way I was loaded. But I was glad to get out of it, because that snow that was coming in, I didn't want anything to do with that. Nothing to do with that. So it's still windy right now. I just got back from the shower. It is still extremely windy. I don't know if you can see this dude fueling right here, but his pants and hoodie are just whipping right now. So okay, I want to jump back to 60. So I've had a couple conversations about this with a few drivers before. Occasionally, I will not take 60 from, well, you take 51, the bridge in Cairo, and then cut across 60 to Paducah. I hate that road. It's only like 36, 37 miles total, I think. But if I have a lot of time, I'll just cut up and take the interstate, even though it adds quite a few miles. But last night I was trying to beat the weather, so I'm like, I'm not adding all that extra miles. So I haven't taken 60 from Cairo to Paducah or Paducah to Cairo for a long time. But I get on it and I've got Copilot running. Now I know that route. I know the turns you need to make. I know all of it. Which, by the way, that bridge is a freaking nightmare, dude. That bridge is horrible. I think I crossed it at, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 3 o'clock, 3:30 this morning. I don't even know what time it was. But a lot of times in the middle of the night, I'll be on it alone, and I'm like, thank God. But this particular time, there was like 5 trucks that were coming the opposite direction, a couple flatbeds, and there is no room for error on that bridge. If you are off by an inch, you're losing your mirror. That bridge is insane. But anyway, Copilot. If anybody at Prime, and maybe if I get some time over the next day or two, I'll message IT, because I think that 60 from Cairo to Paducah is the perfect example of how absolutely retarded Copilot is. Perfect example. There is no better example, because for that entire, whatever it is, 35, 37 miles from interstate to interstate, from when you take exit 1 in Cairo to when you get over to Paducah, Copilot has no idea what you're doing. It can't comprehend, it can't fathom, it can't work it out. It does not know that you can take 60 all the way to 24. It's not a possibility. So, first of all, before I even went through Cairo and went to get on the bridge to cut across 51 to catch 60 at that, there's like a blinking light there. You make a left turn to take 60 to 24. It was having me go some other way. I don't even know what way it could possibly have wanted me to go. But I was ignoring it. I went across the bridge. Then it wanted me to continue down 51, and when I was stopped there at that light, I zoomed out, and it made no sense whatsoever. It was adding like 30, 40 miles, trying to take me some southern route through I have no idea what it was trying to do. So I ignored it. I turned left, went up to that little town like Bartow or something like that, where you make a right in that little town, and then you're on 60 for about 25, 30 miles to 24 to Paducah. Well, the entire way, Prime, user error, you guys say it's user error, the entire way from the Cairo Bridge all the way until just 1 mile left to get on 24, Copilot had me trying to make turns in non-truck areas. And in fact, every time it tried to get me to turn around, it told me that my turn was going to be onto a restricted no truck route. It tried to get me to turn around in a Methodist church. It tried to get me to turn around in a trailer park. There was probably, I'm not joking, you guys, try it. Try this. If you ever go on 60 between Cairo and Paducah, I don't know if it's the same the other way around, but if you take 60 between Cairo and Paducah, watch what Copilot does. Probably 20 or 30 times it tried to get me to go into a neighborhood or around some marathon gas station or into a church parking lot or in every single instance where it tries to get you to turn around, it's trying to get you to do it on something that it's telling you is a no truck, is restricted route. So it was trying to get me to get myself into a jam 20 or 30 times the whole way, all the way up until there was only 1 mile left to get on to 24. In fact, it becomes 4 lanes coming into Paducah, and 24 is right there, 1 mile away. Then, and only then, after all this time, Copilot says, go straight, get on 24. No shit. What were you having me try to do for the last 30 miles? What was that? How can it not compute that 60 is the proper way, if you're going to take that way, the proper truck route, and in fact, the only truck route that I'm aware of, but at least the only logical one, to go from Cairo to Paducah? What this was trying... how you can have a Trekker GPS that is literally 30 times trying to get you to make turns onto restricted neighborhood. I mean, that trailer park was obscenely absurd if you were to take a truck into that and follow what Copilot was telling you to do. It was nuts. It was turns that were like this. There's no way. If you would have taken a truck and trailer into some of the areas this thing was trying to get you to go to turn around, you'd be in trouble. You'd be calling the sheriff and trying to get help out. Like, unbelievable, man. So if anybody at Prime, if you need a really good example, if one of you guys, and I'm trying to say this constructively because they're always asking for examples. If someone wants to take a quick drive over, or if someone's going to visit somebody or something like that, take one of them with you, or download the Copilot app, go to Cairo, and tell it to take you to Nashville or something like that. Put a 53-foot trailer on there in your settings, and then watch what this thing does between Cairo and Paducah on 60. There is no better example of what the fuck. Like, it could not. Oh man, there's lots of examples like that. Lots. There was another example recently when I was headed through Fayetteville and Springdale up to Joplin. I had to go to Protein Solutions, and you guys know you take that exit right before 44, go past the Flying J. Protein Solutions is right there, right? For some reason, this wanted me to exit 9 miles before that exit and take back roads 9 or 10 miles up to that Protein Solutions. It's like, I can just take the exit right there at Flying J, 2 miles or whatever it is, and I'm at Protein Solutions. What are you talking about? Exit 9 miles ahead of the... And by the way, when I ignored that exit, it then wanted me to pass the exit with the Flying J in Joplin and go 9 miles north and take back roads down through town to get to Protein Solutions. I don't get it. It's not just the messing up the final half mile. It's messing up a lot. If you follow Copilot religiously, you are going to get yourself in a mess. So anyway, yeah, I got a little bit of wind tonight. I think I may be rolling into a little bit of sleet and snow, but I don't think it's going to be anything serious. Last night that was a nail biter. That was an absolute nail biter. But we are off and running Campaign Charlie. My wife calls it Campaign Cheddar. But Campaign Alpha and Campaign Bravo are in the book, so Campaign Charlie is off to a good start. I got a lot of good stuff done at the terminal. The seals on my engine block, those are all fixed. I had a bushing replaced in my front end suspension. I got my brakes done on the front end. I got 4 tires. They were level 9s, and I think they were about $200 a pop. All in all, 4 tires, and those 4 tires have got between 80 and 100,000 miles left on them. All in all, I got out of there for under $1,000 with those 4 tires. Labor, parts, everything. I think it was like $985 for all 4 tires, and those should give me between 80 and 100,000 miles. The last ones I had were 8s, the used ones I bought, and those gave me 80,000 miles. These are really good looking tires. I as long as I take care of them, I think I'll probably get close to 100,000 miles out of them. My brakes were like $300 or $400. I got out of there for less than $1,400 with everything said and done. I got a new sensor put in. So I got a lot of good stuff done while I was at the terminal, and we're off and running. So hopefully all of you guys are... hopefully you're just parked and not trying to do, especially if you don't got weight. Don't run in this stuff, man. Don't run in this stuff. That is just crazy. Only do it if you've got serious weight. And even then, know that you're going to need to put your experience to work. All right, guys. Be safe, make good decisions, always drive, thrive. Talk to y'all soon.